Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are going to dive right into Soul Reaver 2. Coming back a little bit later this evening after we get some food, and we are going to go back to something a little bit more modern, but especially with that cliffhanger and us having this right here, had to jump into it. Sadly, I did check the PlayStation Store, and though Blood Omen 1 and 2 are there, and I may have grabbed a copy of Blood Omen, Defiance is not. Which, not the end of the world, because it's not the best game, but it does mean that we will be ending on another cliffhanger. Spoilers. Anyway, let's just dive right in here and have some fun with Soul Reaver 2. Just want to make sure. Yep, good.
At last. I must say I'm disappointed in your progress. I imagined you'd be here sooner.
Like, word for word.
Tell me,
Final scene of the game.
did it trouble you
First
to
game
murder your
is
brothers?
this scene.
Did it trouble you when you ordered me into the abyss?
Eternity is relentless, Raziel. When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge. To know the future, Raziel. To see its paths and streams tracing out into the infinite. As a man, I could never contain such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? As such, are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. Our futures are predestined. Mobius foretold mine eons ago. We each play out the parts fate has written for us. Free will is an illusion.
I found the tomb of Sarafan, Kain. How could you profane a priest by turning him into a vampire?
How could I not? One must keep his friends close, Raziel, and his enemies even closer. Who better to serve me than those whose passion transcends all notions of good and evil?
The Sarafan were saviors, defending Nazgul from the corruption that we represent. My eyes are open, Kain. I find no nobility in the unlife you rudely forced on my unwilling corpse.
You may have uncovered your past, but you know nothing of it. You think the Sarafan were noble, altruistic?
Okay, they did add a little bit.
Don't be simple. Their agenda was the same as ours.
But almost word for word. They just took out the actual boss fight, but still had him walking around, like, hitting all the levers, like he did in the fight. It's very clever the way they did this.
But this is not where or how it ends. Fate promises more twists before this drama unfolds completely.
And no Tony J voice telling you you're going beyond his influence, which, as we will soon see, is an absolute falsehood. So it's no surprise they took that line out.
Raziel, Redeemer and Destroyer, Pawn and Messiah. Welcome, time-span soul. Welcome to your destiny.
And Mobius toned down his delivery a little bit. That's such a great freaking shot.
Where am I? Is the usual question. In your case, when might be more apt.
Very well, you old snake.
I feel like we.
If you
missed
prefer,
something.
I use my bare hands.
This is completely unexpected. This orb disables our vampire enemies, leaving them helpless and incapacitated. Strangely, it seems to have the same effect on that peculiar weapon of yours. But you must believe me. I mean you no harm.
You can drop the benevolent facade, Mobius. I know who and what you are. I should kill you where you stand.
Perhaps you should, my boy. But you don't.
Are you so certain of that, Mobius?
Yeah, he is.
My role as Time Guardian affords me a certain level of omniscience, Raziel. No, you don't kill me. That honor belongs to your maker, Kain, some 30 years from now.
You two are a pair. You're just as fatalistic as he is.
Well,
Death comes
he
for
has
us
a reason
all,
to be.
Raziel. It's just a matter of time.
How is it that you know my name? We have never met.
On the contrary, Raziel, I know you very well. And it grieves me to see how cruelly Kain has used you. I knew you when you were one of the Sarafan Brotherhood, Raziel. We were even close.
Oh, please.
Fortunately, you need not love me now to be my ally.
Are we within the stronghold of the Sarafan priesthood?
Yes, but the glorious days of the Sarafan have long since passed, I'm afraid. This is a more cynical and indecorous age. My mercenary army now inhabits this stronghold. We strive to honor the memory of the Sarafan with our own humble crusade.
Is this the vampire Vorador?
Yes, the scourge of the Circle, the most depraved and decadent example of his whole degenerate race. He slaughtered 6 of my fellow Guardians as they cowered defenseless in this room.
And you somehow survived this massacre?
I and 2 others. The Circle was devastated. Only we 3 were spared.
How convenient. You'll forgive me if I don't naively devour every scrap of information you toss me. You have a reputation for deceit.
And who has slandered me so? Your malefactor, Kain? The one who betrayed and destroyed you? Our common enemy? Consider the source before you judge me too harshly. We'll forget about rekindling our old friendship then. But consider an alliance based on our common ground. We both want Kain dead. I can help you do it.
You don't want to meddle in this, old man. I know all about your sordid little schemes, but you're simply out of your depth on this one.
You underestimate me, Raziel. Let
does.
me show you. Even now, Kain is lying in wait for you, unaware that I've snatched you out of the time stream and brought you here to me. See how he lingers at the very pillars he is destined to destroy, foolishly confident that he has eluded your grasp.
The pillars are still standing in this time.
Yes, Raziel. They are the embodiment of the divine force which preserves the life of our world. We who serve the pillars maintain their delicate balance, and Kain is destined to be the fulcrum upon which that balance turns. I believe you have already endured the wasteland wrought by his terrible, selfish decision. Kain's very existence is a cancer upon this world. As long as he lives, all of Nosgoth is in peril. You may never again be human, Raziel. But you can re-embrace the essence of your humanity and the nobility of your Sarafan heritage. Go to him, Raziel. and end this. But first, you will need to find your way out of the stronghold, and in this, I'm afraid I cannot help you. My soldiers will not understand your appearance here. They will try to kill you. You needn't fear them, of course. They're no match for you.
Nothing is a match for him.
Try to keep
Can't die.
casualties to a minimum. But do what you have to do. All great movements require a few martyrs.
Alone now, I surveyed my surroundings and noticed a second time-streaming chamber. Its entrance identical to the first, but with one distinction. That crystal was significant, but how, I had not yet discovered.
We'll discover it soon enough. But yeah, this, of course, like, is the game where the dialogue between characters was done with the actors reading side by side and riffing off one another, which is why it all sounds so much better and so much less mechanical even than the first game. The first game had really good voice acting because all of these guys are freaking classically trained Shakespearean actors and voice actors in their own right to boot. And you definitely notice the visual upgrade from the PS2 to the ooh, I'll take that. From the PS1 to the PS2, like, the visuals are definitely a lot better. Controls are the exact same. Oh, that is now an overhead slam. And then we can kill him like that. Why can't I bring out the Soul Reaver? Oh, yeah, okay, now the combat in this is coming back to me. Much improved over the first game.
Taste my blade, vampire!
And that's Raziel's voice actor. Much more action-packed intro than the first game. Can I still? Yes, I can.
Taste my blade, vampire!
What's the dodge? These guys are just humans, so they don't have to be taken care of like the vampires in the first game. I can just massacre them barehanded. Okay, that's where it is. Back that way. Can't go that way. What? What's going on here? That's odd. Okay, well, that isn't it. Why am I suddenly stuck here? Oh. Am I supposed to be not able to? What is going on here? I wonder if this is a bug. Because I was able to open all the other doors, but why isn't this one opening? Huh. Nope, that ain't it. Maybe we should... Sure, we'll turn those back on for now. Yeah! What the fuck? Okay, so those are the interaction units,
Throughout
for
the
sure.
stronghold, I discovered evidence of my former nobility and my life as a Sarafan priest. This was the heritage so foully stolen from me when Kain raided my sacred crypt and defiled me.
Thank you for being so kind and waiting.
Over there!
Well, that was everybody. Heads. Very low-res heads. Vampires, I guess. Okay, there was a door that just opened. This one. Moved with the floor.
Away from the
So
influence
cool.
of Mobius's cursed staff, I could feel the strength of the Soul Reaver slowly returning.
Oh, that's why I
If
couldn't
that
use it.
orb was as debilitating to vampires as it was to the blade, it gave Mobius a powerful advantage over his enemies. I finally understood how Mobius's crusade could decimate the vampires so successfully. If he could immobilize his enemies, they were at his mercy. But why, I wondered, would the staff have any effect on the Reaver?
Ow. Om nom nom. I'm coming for you. It's a valiant effort, but y'all can't do shit. There we go. Okay, we can go through there. That is like fully locked, I think. Oops.
The scourge is upon us!
Am I not at full health? They're really nice at waiting. There we go. Now it's on.
Taste my blade, vampire!
Just dissolve them. Y'all think I'm a vampire when I look like this?
As I neared the stronghold's inner sanctum, a strange sensation crept over me. An indescribable feeling of displacement, a sense of vertigo, as reality itself appeared to warp and bend around me. The disturbance seemed to emanate from the sanctuary's furthest chapel. As I cautiously approached, the sense of dislocation intensified with each step. So this was the tomb of the beloved King William the Just, beatified here as the martyr and catalyst of Mobius's crusade. I was reminded of Kain's journey as a fledgling vampire, how Mobius coerced him to travel back in history and assassinate William, thus igniting a genocidal hatred of vampires among the citizens of Nosgoth. And here I discovered the source of the displacement. The Soul Reaver itself, laid out like a holy relic, and broken, apparently in the battle between William and Kain. I had not thought such a thing was possible. Until, of course, Kain shattered the blade against me when he tried to strike me down. Thus, the captive spirit inhabiting the Reaver was released, and binding itself to me, became my symbiotic weapon. And so the Reaver met its former self, still imprisoned in this corporeal shell. I watched, mesmerized, as the Wraith blade uncoiled itself and snaked down the length of the physical blade. Embracing its twin, its mirror self, the Reaver's long dormant spirit was now fully aroused. And for the first time, I felt the true presence of this other entity. Willful, ravenous, and deranged from thousands of years of imprisonment. The Reaver was now in command, and I, now merely its helpless host, felt my soul being leached to restore the blade. But the Reaver knew better than to destroy its host, and just as I neared the brink of oblivion, the blade released its hold on me. As I recovered, I realized we were now bound together in a fragile alliance. The Reaver no longer merely my symbiotic weapon, but a sentient parasite competing for control.
What have you done to me, Mobius? Is this your trap?
How mine? Don't forget it was Kain who led you here, not I. While you curse me, the only soul in Nosgoth ready to guide and assist you, Kain laughs at our folly and revels in your dismay.
These blades, now coiled in sinister embrace, have
He's got
inspired
funny hands.
terror in the hearts of creatures far more durable than you, old man. Bound together as they are, I can only imagine what they could do to your soul's fragile shell.
Raziel, I beg you to stay your hand. This was none of my doing. I have sought only to aid you in your righteous quest.
Why, you're trembling, Mobius. Has your confidence abandoned you? You seem to have made a fatal error by leaving your precious staff behind. Is that where all your courage comes from?
Listen to me, Raziel. You don't know what you're doing. I have taken an enormous risk by appearing here before you, so defenseless, yet eager to prove my good intentions. If there's anything left of the Seraphim in you, you won't do this. While you threaten me, your true enemy eludes you.
Don't concern yourself with Kain, old man. He'll join you in hell soon enough. As you said, death comes for us all.
Yes, the wheel of fate demands it.
What did you say?
The wheel of fate. The inexorable cycle of death and rebirth to which all men are compelled. We serve the same God, Raziel. To strike me down would be striking God's own attendant. I don't believe even you would take that risk.
I tire of your games, Mobius. Now that I know you fear me, I needn't concern myself with you. Kain is waiting for me.
Go then, Raziel. Seek Kain out and destroy him in the name of the one God we both serve. You, who were once a Seraphim priest, murdered, profaned, destroyed, and reborn again from his mercy. You are now most powerfully equipped to be his agent, his instrument of restoration and retribution.
My own vengeance is motivation enough.
By my soul, you almost had me, my little blue assassin. But that'll be the one and only chance you get. I assure you of that.
I could now summon the blade at will, regardless of my strength. But once summoned, the blade's ravenous appetite could not be contained. It devoured the souls of its victims, and if I allowed it to become over-aroused, the Reaver would now turn its hunger on me.
Oh, and there goes our health, down to minimum. But that is a nice upgrade. How we can actually properly use the Reaver at this point.
So this
Whenever
was
we
the
want.
legendary Janos Ordrin, reputed to have been the most ancient and diabolical vampire to have ever existed. According to folklore, he lived high in the cliffs of Nosgoth's northern mountains and preyed mercilessly on the defenseless villagers below. His reign of terror ended when the Sarafan finally hunted him down and tore his throbbing heart from his still-living body. This relic came to be known as the Heart of Darkness. It was supposedly imbued with the power to restore vampiric unlife. The Sarafan therefore guarded it carefully, lest the heart fall into the hands of their enemies. But I wondered, could Janos Ordrin truly have been as monstrous as depicted here? Or was this merely artistic license by the Sarafan, who sought to lionize themselves by demonizing their darkest enemy?
And that is the other thing, like, this, which made me kind of want to go back and play Blood Omen again, because this game very much draws on the lore of the original Blood Omen, the first Legacy of Kain game, much more so than it does Soul Reaver 1. I mean, like, Soul Reaver 1, they mentioned the pillars in passing as like, oh, this is where Ariel the ghost is bound to, and where Kain built his throne after he let the pillars crumble. Whereas the pillars were central to the health and life of Nosgoth, as we will learn here. And when I eventually get around to doing Blood Omen. Oh, I see how that works.
Strange how my history came full circle. This chapel, I realized, was a memorial to my former Sarafan brethren and myself. All of us martyred here, and then so cruelly profaned by Kain when he imposed his gift on our noble corpses. For the first time, I beheld the image of my Sarafan self, memorialized here among my fallen comrades. It tortured me to see how noble and pure I had been, and what a vile phantasm I had become. And a profound sense of injury, of loss and betrayal welled up in me, so overwhelming I could barely contain it. All I wanted at this moment was to find Kain and destroy him.
Ladies, you picked the wrong guy. Told you. that was Duma. Melchiah. Rahab. Turel, who we never fought in Soul Reaver, but we did fight his offspring, which were those vampires near the end that I kept on calling the Turlin. And then Raziel. And Zephon. Oh, I think we are going backwards. Okay. They made this spiral staircase wide enough for the camera to be able to handle it without spazzing. There we go. Now we're up top. And that looks like my way out.
I emerged, and for the first time beheld Nosgoth in its former glory. The land overflowed with abundant life and vitality, and I knew with certainty then that the world I had left behind was nothing more than the corpse of Nosgoth, a lifeless husk bled dry by the corruption of Kain's parasitic empire. This was the fragile world Kain sacrificed to preserve his own petty life and ambition, heedless of the profound cost. The sight only deepened my resolve. I sensed that the pillars lay to the northwest. If Kain truly waited to confront me there, I would not disappoint him.
Northwest. Yeah, because we don't have what we need to open that door yet. Yeah, I can tell from here with the purple spelling out we need the Dark Blade. Oh, that PS2 water. The swimming controls are marginally better than they used to be. There we go.
As I passed this arcane landmark, a wisp of the Reaver's energy was drawn into the ring, illuminating it. This created a beacon of sorts in the spirit world. If ever I found myself depleted in the spectral realm, and my soul tossed on the ethereal winds, these beacons would draw me back to safety and restore me.
Yay, checkpoints. I doubt we will ever use one. I'll need to find some frickin' souls to munch on soon. Ahoy, Mr. Drew! You have caught us going back in time.
These ancient obelisks were mysteriously attuned to my spiritual essence. By simply touching the symbol, I could safely preserve an imprint of my soul.
Save
and
points!
thus create a milestone to which I could return when weary, and from which I could resume my journey.
Oh, I think you said you didn't finish Soul Reaver 1, but did you ever get to do the second one? This is the time travel one. So, like, picks up literally the opening cutscene of this game is the final cutscene and boss fight of the first game.
I sensed that in time my journey would return me full circle to this place. Infiltrating the fortress, however, would be no small feat. The balcony that had provided my escape was now well beyond my reach, leaving this massive gateway as the only means of entry.
Like how
The gates were sealed, but like the time-streaming chamber I had seen earlier, their operation was undoubtedly linked to that odd crystal mounted above the entrance.
Ah, yes. Well, basically Soul Reaver ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, and the opening of this game literally is that cliffhanger. But basically we've gone roughly about, I think, somewhere between 12 and 1500 years into the past, to a time before Kain had corrupted the world. And this game definitely much improved over the first game in terms of combat, level design, all the good stuff. Ow. And the Reaver, much more of a badass weapon. Just paste them. I think the Reaver is eating the souls now, so it's not getting into my health. It's just feeding the blade. That adds an extra element of strategy into this.
There it is!
What is... Did I just see... No, I didn't. I was seeing things. Well, that was a sudden shift in the soundtrack. I did see it. The birds are, when they fly off, they're dissolving into like a green... War dogs? Taste mine. it was your buddies. What is this? Nothing important, I guess. Just some kind of iconography. Nothing behind the waterfall.
There's one!
Throw it at your hilt first.
Face my blade, vampire!
Oh, I can't pick up the cannon? That's too bad. Since they're human too, now I can kill them with my bare hands as well.
These vampires had nothing in common with the deranged jackals I left behind in Kain's derelict empire. They seemed to retain much of their former humanity. In this era, vampires were clearly not the uncontested predators we had been. These creatures were hunted mercilessly and oppressed. And while I still believed that vampirism was a plague and had to be wiped out, there was nothing noble or righteous in this crusade. This was simply ruthless persecution.
Double! That's a really weird, like, axe head they put on the doggo. Oh, buddy. What was that? Prepare to what? Y'all don't realize this is the most powerful being in this realm. Take it hilt first.
The pillars of Nosgoth, pristine, whole, and uncorrupted. I had never beheld them in this undefiled state, yet something profound and indelible resonated within me at the sight. And there, waiting at the very heart of the pillars, was the canker that was destined to destroy them.
I know you're there, Raziel.
Mobius led me to you, Kain, though I might have guessed you'd meet me here.
And if Mobius told you I was hidden on the underside of hell, would you throw yourself into oblivion to pursue me? Mobius trawls for the ignorant and unwary, hauling his gasping prey from the streams of their destinies. Stay out of his net, Raziel.
Spare me your elaborate metaphors, Kain. I have pursued you here for one purpose.
Everyone in this game just speaks in elaborate metaphors. What are you talking about?
Will thus be restored to Nosgoth.
And whose will is satisfied then? The will of Raziel or Mobius?
Would I be better manipulated by you, Kain? Now, turn and face me. The chase is over.
This isn't a chase, Raziel. We are merely passengers on the wheel of destiny, describing a perfect circle to this point. We've been brought here for a reason. I've seen the beginning and the end of our story, however, and the tale is crude and ill-conceived. We must rewrite the ending of it. You and I.
Face me, Kain. Even you shouldn't die a coward's death.
Isn't it customary to grant the condemned a final request?
I recall no such courtesy from you.
Indulge me, Raziel. All I ask is that you listen. This is the sublime moment of our undoing, Raziel. The ineffable fulcrum upon which swings the entirety of our history. This is where all of Nosgoth is betrayed. In this instant, Ariel, the Balance Guardian, is murdered by dark forces bent on overthrowing the Pillars. Her spirit is just now tearing free, lost in the ether, trying to find its way here.
That's what we just
We've
heard.
already seen how she comes to haunt these Pillars.
Bound here by your refusal to die. You are the reason this land becomes diseased. As long as you remain alive, you condemn Nosgoth to an eternity of decay.
Be still, Raziel. See this. As Ariel dies, I am being born to take her place as Balance Guardian. Such is my destiny.
My God.
At the moment of my first cry, Ariel's beloved, the Guardian Nupraptor, finds her corpse. Racked with grief and tormented by suspicions of treachery, Nupraptor plunges into a madness which overflows and infects all of the Guardians who are symbiotically bound, including me. The repercussions of Ariel's assassination were expertly calculated. The entire circle descends into madness, and I am tainted at the moment of my birth, instantly rendered incapable of fulfilling the role destiny has prepared for me.
Shall I show you the same mercy you showed the rest of the circle, then? You blithely murdered them to restore their pillars, yet your hand faltered when it came to the final sacrifice.
This is
What
all
makes
literally
you
just going
accept,
over Blood
Kain?
Omen.
You're merely the last man standing. Why condemn me for simply carrying out what you hadn't the courage to do yourself?
Let's drop the moral posturing, shall we?
That's all
We
you
both
two
know there's
do!
no altruism in this pursuit. Your reckless indignation led you here. I counted on it. There's no shame in it, Raziel. Revenge is motivation enough. At least it's honest. Hate me, but do it honestly. 30 years hence, I am presented with a dilemma. Let's call it a two-sided coin. If the coin falls one way, I sacrifice myself and thus restore the pillars. But as the last surviving vampire in Nosgoth, this would mean the annihilation of our species. Mobius made sure of that. If the coin lands on the reverse, I refuse the sacrifice and thus doom the pillars to an eternity of collapse.
Literally
Either
the two
way,
endings
the
of Blood
game
Omen that you can
is
choose
rigged.
from.
We agree, then, that the pillars are crucial and must be restored.
Yes, Raziel. And that's why we've come full circle to this place.
So after all this, you make my case for me. To end this stalemate, you must die so that new Guardians can be born.
Pillars don't belong to them, Raziel. They belong to us.
Your arrogance is boundless, Kain.
There's a third option. A monumental secret, hidden in your very presence here. But it's a secret you have to discover for yourself. Unearth your destiny, Raziel. It's all laid out for you here.
You said it yourself, Kain. There are only two sides to your coin.
Apparently so. But suppose you throw a coin enough times. Suppose one day it lands on its edge.
Okay, so where to next?
I didn't know what impulse stayed my hand, why I had so willingly allowed Kain to escape me when I had pursued him for so long. I had no reason to trust Kain after he had valued me so little, and yet I found myself intrigued by his words. I had been too cruelly used to so gullibly play his pawn, but if this world truly had secrets to divulge, I was determined to expose them.
I like how they just use the environment to tell you what to do. It's like, hey, use the shift spirit realm here. That is so cool. I love the way they do that. And the kind of warped version of the soundtrack they have playing. Slua! We still eat them whole, and so many more souls to fit in my mouth. In the spirit realm. Wow, they have a wide grin. A lot more detail in these models, of course, because, well, PS2 polygon count versus PS1 polygon count was significant. Just level the ground out.
From the moment of my arrival, I had the constant and palpable sensation of being watched. Someone, it seemed, was keenly interested in my presence here.
I think that is a picture of Janos. Or
From
is
the
that
look of it,
Raziel?
this door had been sealed for centuries. I began to realize it was no mere coincidence that I found myself standing here, beneath this winged figure with blue skin and cloven hands so like my own, and bearing this unique key. And so it was with a sense of gravity and trepidation that I unsealed that ancient door and crossed the threshold.
Threshold crossed. Taking me where I think it's taking me. Like, looking at the floor and the crystals, this looks like Cthulhu territory. The Reaver is been fed too much. I have overstimulated it. Its arousal got too much. It suffered from overstim. Yeah, I have a feeling I know what's coming. I do remember a lot of this one much more than I remember the, Yep. I thought so. I remember Soul Reaver 2 much better than I remember Soul Reaver. Hey, it's the bottom of the pillars.
As I entered the chamber, I sensed that it had been sealed for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. And while this room was clearly built when the pillars were erected, I knew that no human hand could have shaped this place, and that perhaps it had never been seen by human eyes. The surrounding murals depicted a winged race, their features so like my own, but beautiful, where mine were grotesque, and angelic, while mine were demonic. I tried to decipher these images. A great war, but with combatants like none I had ever seen. The pillars, raised by this winged race, who thus defeated their adversaries. The winged beings again, writhing in agony, apparently afflicted with the same bloodthirst I had so recently suffered. And throughout the chamber, inscribed everywhere, images of the Reaver itself. Was this what Kain had urged me to discover? I wondered.
Lies, Raziel.
There's our daddy.
Do not be deceived.
Ah, my ancient benefactor. And I dared to hope we had parted ways forever. Your silence was refreshing. It lasted. No doubt you have a conveniently inexpressible reason for your presence here.
Do not be insolent, Raziel. I am eternally present here and everywhere, now and always. I am the still center of the turning wheel, the hub of this world's destiny.
But perhaps not so omnipotent as you'd have me believe. Your hold on me appears to be tenuous. I no longer seem to need you. Yet I'm guessing you still need me.
This impudence is unworthy of you, Raziel. Do not forget that you have a task to fulfill here. You are indebted to me.
Indebted? You would have me show gratitude for a gift I didn't ask to be bestowed.
Twice
Do
he
you
didn't
forget
ask
that you
for it.
forced me to inhabit this vile carcass?
I restored you to yourself, Raziel. It was Kain who destroyed you. The very enemy you've just let slip through your grasp. Do not fail me, my servant.
I serve no one. Not you, not Kain, and not your lackey Mobius.
Mobius is my good servant. I have many.
And if I tell Mobius that he's worshipping a giant squid, do you think his faith will falter?
More of an
You
octopus,
have grown
really.
willful, Raziel. But beware. To embrace a serpent is to invite poison into your heart. Kain is a sinuous beast. He will seduce and deceive you.
Sinuous,
You
even.
pride yourself on your free will, yet you let that degenerate deter your resolve.
I harbor no illusions about his integrity, nor anyone else's. In fact, I am beset by manipulation on all sides. I merely seek the truth.
These are the fathomless truths, Raziel. The agony of birth and death and rebirth. This is the wheel of fate, the purifying cycle which sustains all life. Vampires are an abomination, a plague which leeches this land of its spiritual strength. They obstruct the flow of life and death. Their souls stagnate in their wretched corpses. But the wheel must turn. Death
There's our
is
exit.
inexorable and cannot be denied. Your destiny is irresistible, Raziel. You are my soul reaver, the scourge of the vampires, reaper of their apostate souls. Remain steadfast, end the vampire's parasitic curse, and restore Nosgoth. Kain's blood
belongs on your hands.
Kain indeed deserves to die for condemning me to this repugnant form. But if and when I kill him, it will be for me alone to decide.
Kain destroyed you without a flicker of remorse. He tore the soul from your noble corpse, and after you had served him faithfully for 1,000 years, he discarded you in the abyss on a jealous whim. Remember your rage, Raziel. Let it guide your hand.
Feed me souls. Where are souls? Whoa! That's a big-ass slua. Get in my mouth! Alright, well, this is where we are going to call this stream for now. Getting back into Soul Reaver 2 has reminded me how not only it is a step up in terms of storytelling and visuals and combat, but it is also very wordy and very pretentious. But that's part of its charm. But, yeah, no, we will, I'm going to be coming back in about an hour and a half after I have some food. I'm going to grab me a bottle of sake, and we are going to play some Sekiro. Sake and Sekiro is back for a Souls-like Sunday revival. So be sure to join us for that. I know this wasn't a Souls-like, but it had soul in the title, so felt right. But yeah, we'll be back after dinner with Sake and Sekiro. Be sure to join us for that, and we'll see you then. Have a great one.